Wade Wilson is back again with a deadly new mission courtesy of CODY ZIGLAR, the man who breathed fresh life over into the Miles Morales book. But will lightning strike twice here? Well, let's hop into the pages of issue number 1 and find out together, shall we? So then, as we join the book, it seems that Deadpool is deploying on a brand new mission. In his internal monologue, he talks about how he's lived a very long life, and in that time he's collected a lot of different names. The Merc with the Mouth, the Regenerating Degenerate, the Despicable Deadpool. Yes, he's been called lots of things, but only sporadically in his life has he ever truly been called happy. In fact, more than ever, Wade says that he feels a little bit lost, a little bit adrift, like his life has just been a series of events tangentially stitched together. So in a meta sense, what Deadpool is saying here is that he's a little upset that he's been stuck in a series of never-ending minis for a number of years now, and how he wants to go back to having an ongoing. And wouldn't you know it, but when Deadpool is upset, he does one thing and one thing only, and that is completely throw himself into his work, like right now as he's sent back to his home of Canada in order to take out a prime target. Now, joining Deadpool on this mission is actually Princess, his symbiote dog daughter. Don't remember her? She's actually a holdover from the previous Alessa Wong series. She's basically a Carnage clone that chest burster birthed her way out of Deadpool's own body. Princess also refers to Wade as Papa in a very 11 from Stranger Things kind of way. Now, who exactly is standing in between Deadpool and his target? Well, only the vilest, most disgusting, most sinful villains ever, French Canadians. Honestly, I gotta say hats off to CODY ZIGLAR for realizing that French Canadians actually don't speak Parisian French, but instead speak Quebecois. Deadpool and Princess make short work of the goon squad, cutting through them like hot knives through butter. Unfortunately, while Wade himself is still very much nigh immortal, his symbiote daughter, not so much. A rocket attack from one of the goons actually ends up doing some real damage to Princess, and you can actually see in Wade's internal monologue how everything stops being a joke in that moment. Well, actually, he still keeps making jokes to mask real pain, but in his internal monologue, you can see how truly stressed out and horrified he is, and oh yeah, this is the Deadpool I like most right here, a sad clown in a world he never made. ZIGLAR, as usual, is also sure to infuse Wade with his own personal sense of humor. I bet you didn't know this, but Deadpool is actually an anime fan and makes an offhand Chainsaw Man joke. Deadpool and Princess make their way deeper inside this compound, which they realize is actually just a normal, regular, run-of-the-mill house. In fact, for a second they stop and wonder if they could ever see themselves calming down and moving into a place like this, or if their work really has become their home for better or worse. It's here too we learn about the target. Apparently they're going after a mad scientist going by the name Henry, and yes, it is Henry, not Henry, because they have a little accent over the E. In classic bad guy fashion, this guy's laboratory is hidden behind a very clearly fake bookshelf. Deadpool blows it and says, okay, I'm only doing this to get to the secret passage behind there. Really want to beat those book-burning allegations. By the time DP and Princess manage to make it down to his inner sanctum, Henry is already grabbing his cash and looking to run. It seems that whatever he was working on, it involved some sort of portal tech. Wade is of course no stranger to portals and ends up jumping right on in like it was no big deal, even though it ends up costing him the use of his legs. All of this ends up leading to a very elaborate chase scene wherein a legless Deadpool must jump on the back of his symbiote dog daughter to try and catch Henry before he escapes. Again, Deadpool breaks the fourth wall during this entire thing, saying, man, if this was a movie, I bet this would cost a cool 10 mil to film. Before even going a step further, saying that he does not envy the poor artist who's going to have to end up drawing this whole thing. His speech bubbles actually cutting in and out depending on which portal he goes through, in a very fun little effect. Eventually, Deadpool does manage to corner Henry. Unfortunately for him, though, he's already been murdered by another would-be assassin. This guy is a magic user with a bunch of strange runes all over his face. Apparently, this guy has killed other assassins before, and he's actually a little taken with Deadpool. He's not so dour and morose as the other assassins. He actually has a sense of humor, a sense of fun. But more importantly, when this guy lands what would no doubtedly be a killing blow to anyone else, Wade actually ends up popping back up, which this dude is absolutely over the moon about. Apparently he's been waiting for someone who could teach him a greater insight about death. Though it looks like these lessons will have to wait for later, as the mystery man ends up departing, leaving poor Deadpool behind. He didn't get his target, he's not gonna get his money, and worse still, Wade is all alone, which means he's forced to actually listen to his own thoughts and take stock of his own life right now, and man, it isn't going too good. He mourns the dissolution of his relationship to Princess's mother, Valentine. Again, go check out that Alessa Wong series if you don't know. But more importantly, for the first time in a long time, Deadpool thinks about his own other daughter, Ellie Kamacho from the Jerry Duggan series. Honestly, she was probably one of the best supporting characters Deadpool has ever had, so I love that she's getting brought back here and now. Wade manages to regroup with Princess just in time to get a mysterious call from a new would-be employer. And hey, look everybody, it's Agent Gao, CODY Ziglar's original character from the Miles Morales book. In case you don't know, Gao is a cop and the founder of a group called the Cape Killers, basically think a more street-level version of the Thunderbolts. She wants to hire Wade for a brand new mercenary outfit she's starting. Wade basically tells her to kick rocks and that he doesn't need her, only to realize once the call ends, oh no wait, I actually do need money, I probably should start a mercenary company. And the best part about the idea is that it's completely original and that it's never been done before. Now, where the main story comes to an end, we actually switch on over to see what happened to that mysterious assassin who almost punched Deadpool's ticket. Turns out he's part of a much bigger, mystical, magical order. We also learn that this guy has a name, and very fittingly, it's Death Grip. As in, no one escapes Death's grip, not even the semi-immortal Deadpool. But you know what? That's not the end, because we're actually treated to a short and sweet little backup story wherein we see Wade go and visit his daughter, Ellie, who's still living with Agent Preston and her family in the desert. Despite everything that happened in the Duggan series, Ellie actually harbors no ill will for her father, actually quite the opposite. She assumed that if he was here and now, it's because he's come to collect her to come live with him. Sadly, Deadpool is forced to admit that he doesn't have his life nearly together enough to properly care for her and to keep her safe, but he does want to try and be an active part of her life now, and because of that, he gives her a special sat phone, meaning that she can now always have a line to her father morning, noon, or night. And I mean, hey, if that's not one giant big Chekhov's gun, then I certainly don't know what is. And so that was Deadpool issue number 1, everybody, and I can't lie, this has probably been one of my most hotly anticipated new series of the year. I actually got up extra early so I could buy this one when it dropped. Ziglar's been working so much magic over on that Miles Morales Spider-Man book, and I think he's absolutely everything the Deadpool book needs right now. For starters, the dude's absolutely legitimately funny, writing for most big comedy shows while also writing for comics. But more importantly than that, it's how he approaches the material. He builds on stuff that's come before, reintroduces old characters while also creating new stuff. Meaning that this series serves as both a fresh start for people who have maybe never picked up a Deadpool book before, or if you're an old head like me, it's going to be really rewarding with all the references and callbacks. Art's pretty good too. This is from the same guy who did some of Batgirl and the Birds of Prey and a little Injustice. It certainly fits with Deadpool, definitely in the bigger, more frenetic action scenes. I was definitely won over by the first issue. I hope you were too, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Overall, I would give this one a very well-deserved 8.5 out of 10. Deadpool's back, and it feels so good, and with the new movie coming out in July, I get the feeling this is going to be a really big year for the Merc with the Mouth. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest, that's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.